Wake that ass up
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line. We have Deborah Roberts. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
How are you feeling,
Deborah?
I'm feeling all right. What is it you say, Charlamagne? Blessed, black, and
highly favored.
Highly favored. Okay, that's my new mantra. Then I like that. I'm going with it.
There you go.
I know you don't have much time because I know you got to go. So let's get right into it. What is the goal of Soul of a Nation? And break down what a Soul of a Nation is.
Soul of a Nation is, first of all, something that is long overdue, I think we would all say, and certainly a point of pride for correspondents and people of color at ABC News. It is a deep look at Black culture in a way that I don't think has ever been taken on before, sort of looking at all of the complexities of our world, right? From pain to prosperity, to joy, to struggle, just sort of taking a look at all of those things through a very different lens. For instance, I did a story for the program a couple of weeks ago on abortion in the Black community, something that you really often don't hear talked about. You know, we often we see it through a white lens, but we don't hear about Black people and what their feelings are about it. I spoke to a devout Christian woman who runs an abortion clinic, and then a devout Christian woman who really is an activist and believes Black Lives Matter also in the womb. And so she is anti-abortion, but it was a nuanced discussion that you don't hear very often. Those kinds of topics, also talking about things that make us unique, things that make us happy. We're going to also talk about sports and activism. That's going to be coming up on Tuesday. So just kind of this broad look at our community in all of its sort of looks and flavors and sounds and sights, and, you know, just a very exciting look at our community.
You know, Deb, one conversation that you guys had was about faith. And that was an interesting one to me because one thing you talked about, you had Botham Jean's brother on there discussing how he was able to forgive Amber Geiger for killing his brother. And that was such an interesting conversation, and the idea of forgiveness also. And so that's something we got all the time.
Yeah, exactly. We hear that all the time in our community, and sort of the bedrock of our faith, right, is often about forgiveness. We've all heard that when we've been growing up. And to hear this discussion between him and his sister saying, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. This woman took away my brother. And so that whole dynamic of, you know, what is forgiveness and how does that impact our faith? And, you know, we're just finding voices and ways to look at things, I think, that have never been looked at in the same way before over a 6-week period. And hopefully we will continue. We hope people will, you know, tune in and find it interesting, not only just people in the community of color, but people outside that community as well.
I wonder, Ms. Deborah, you know, what's something new you might have learned about Blackness, Black America, as you've been, you know, watching this series or reporting on this series?
Oh gosh, that's so hard, Charlamagne. I mean, new, I don't know, but I think it's been sort of fun to explore that. You know, one thing we all know, we're not a monolith, right? Mm-hmm. We all have different opinions. And to hear, I think, just the depth of those opinions. I mean, it's hard to say because we've talked to so many different people about so many different things. I mean, I think the piece about the athletes and, you know, their move toward activism, and, you know, over the years, we've seen that, of course, but to really, really take on this movement over this last couple of years, I think has really been powerful and interesting. But look, we all know these things. We all know these truths. We just don't get a chance to speak about them publicly. You all do. You all do on the Breakfast Club a lot. But a lot of us just don't get a chance to sort of discuss these things in a provocative way. But I think more than anything else that, you know, we're not all the same. We're not all going to, you know, feel the same way about things. And I certainly felt that when I, you know, met the two women, and the one woman who was very much, you know, anti-abortion. She said abortion shouldn't be necessary, but she's also had 2 abortions. And, you know, so she could speak. She knew from what she speaks, you know. So those kinds of things, those kinds of discussions, I think just hearing the different voices.
You know what I wanted to know? I was watching the interview and you were talking with your husband, Al Roker, and, you know, saying that you've been married over 25 years. First, congratulations on that. That's
Thank
not easy.
you.
Yeah, celebrated that 25 years.
Our fingernails, honey, by our fingernails.
I was going to ask, so what are the keys to success for being married that long? So this year is my 20th. I'll be married 20 years this year.
Oh my gosh.
What is the-
Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
That,
You know,
that hair dye on the bed fooled you, right? You was like, wow.
You guys are so bad. You're so bad.
What is the key to success?
I'm not in
Especially
any
since you
way-
almost messed up the proposal, because you almost messed up the proposal. So what?
I know it. I know. You know the whole drill. Yeah, because he was proposing, guys. If you didn't know, we were at the Grand Canyon, and I was just like, I had it. A lot of my girlfriends were getting engaged. I was in my like early 30s, and it looked like he was not going to pop the question. We had discussed marriage, and then he finally, just did it on New Year's Day. And after these other holidays had passed, and he hadn't done it, I had made up my mind I was going to break up with him. Like, this guy clearly has cold feet. He's not going to do it. He doesn't want to get married again. He'd been divorced. And anyway, and that's how I almost messed up the proposal, but I didn't. I think Al and I would both be the first to say we do not have a prescription. We are not perfect at it. We have had our mistakes and our ups and downs in our marriage. So we don't have a roadmap for anybody, but I will say that we are committed to hanging in there and trying every day. And I really do think it's a decision. It is a daily decision, it sounds trite, but we really did get in this thing to just try to see it through. And I think even when Al and I had this fight last night, and I won't get into all the details, but he was being pouty and I was being, annoyed, and and we could have just gone off in our separate corners and sulked, and both of us sometimes just kind of get so frustrated with each other. But you know what? I love the guy, and we have a life together, and we have a history together. And you know what? I want to make it work. I want to make it work. So I sucked it up and I said, okay, what's going on? What's happening with you? And we kind of laid it out, and we straightened it out and so forth. But I think it's a daily decision, and it's easy. It is very easy to say, I've been there and done that. I'm done. I'm out of here. That's very easy. I think you've probably been to that point where you just kind of want to say, I can't put up with this anymore. But
I ain't been there yet. I ain't been there yet.
But I bet
She's probably been there.
his wife has.
She's probably been there. She's been there, I'm sure, numerous times.
You've got a special marriage. No, it's not easy. I think it's not easy, but I think it's a daily decision, and it's a commitment, and it's getting through it. And even when it's rough, knowing that you can probably come out on the other side.
And he brings you a margarita, and then things get a lot better after that.
There you go. Because you and I had a little margarita or whatever we had last time we talked, and that makes everything better, doesn't it?
Question, Ms. Deborah. I know we're not here to talk about your marriage, but it made me think, did you push him to lose weight, or was that something he wanted to do on his own?
I think it was a combination of things. I mean, let's face it, any marriage has somebody in it, particularly women, who will nudge guys to either be healthier, stop smoking, stop drinking so much, pull yourself together. I think we all want the best for each other. And I just happen to be a very active person. I mean, I'm a jogger, I work out, whatever. And it was no fun, when Al was not really into that. So yeah, did I nudge him? I think I did. But I think at a certain point, he had to come to it. And I had to realize that he's got to decide for himself about his future and about his health. But ultimately, it was his father. When his father was dying, and he made him promise to pull himself together and get his health together for his future and for his family and his kids. And so Al made the decision to do it, and it still has to be his decision. I nudge him regularly about the way he eats, because I happen to be a healthy eater. Mm-hmm. And as much as Al is working hard, he still likes the junk. He likes to eat the junk, so he has to work on that.
Did you ever have to check him because he started feeling himself, started thinking he was cute when he lost that weight?
Oh yeah. For a while, he was thinking he was really cute and buying like all these like fancy, like, just kind of cool wardrobe. And I was happy to see him, but and then he started lecturing me about what I was eating, what I was doing. I was like, oh, okay, hold on. That's when we had to pull it together. But listen, it's great. And it's a journey. And you all know that anything you're trying to change in your life, it's a journey. And, in his case, it's something he's working on all the time, but I'm very proud of him.
Gotcha. How did the concept for Soul of a Nation even come about?
Oh, gosh. You know what? I think, Angela, particularly last year, with so much happening in this country, the pandemic, the death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, so much discussion about where we are in this country and in this world. Just a lot of conversations were happening at ABC News. And I was so proud of our network in a way for creating forums and platforms for us to talk, for people of you, particularly correspondents and anchors of color, to put their thoughts and their feelings out there. And just over the course of time, it just, happened. Marie Nelson, who is a vice president, a woman of color who really, really wanted to see us do and challenge on the network, along with other people, started talking, and we started thinking about, the whole concept of Wakanda, right? And how that touched people, that movie, as fictional as it was, but we all knew that there was something special in the Black community that just wasn't being highlighted enough. So it was just a number of conversations, and it sort of rolled into something that was just sort of organic. And I'm just hoping that we continue to pursue it, because it has been a great point of pride for all of us. I just want more time. I just want more time to tell my stories, because, they're always, there's always that nemesis in television, when we have to make these things shorter and keep, the time clock going. But yeah, it was one of those things that just kind of evolved out of conversations at ABC News.
And there's a great one on the history of comedy too. So if people haven't seen the whole series, it's joyful. It's reflective. There's parts that you're going to be angry about as we talk about what's going on in our nation. But I do think the comedy one was something that I really appreciated. And
that whole kitchen table concept, when we can sit around and talk, and we end with a performance, usually of somebody, John Legend. And I think I can say who's coming up, because we'll say Andrew Day is going to say, we just have all these great performances. So it's not only just the struggle and what we've been through, but it's also the celebration of who we are. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And it's on Hulu. A little shameless plug here if you missed anything on Hulu.
What's happening on the next episode? I know you got to go. So what's happening on the next episode?
The next episode, we're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about activism in sports. Jamel Hill is going to take care of that one. And we're just going to talk about athletes and how, we heard that whole famous, just shut up and dribble, remember? Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking about athletes who are saying they're not doing that, that this is a time and a moment and, a movement. And so we're going to talk about the history of that and also where we are at this moment.
Gotcha.
Well, Deborah
Thank
Roberts,
you, Deborah, so much for
checking in.
Thank you, Ms. Deborah.
So great to see you guys. And listen, radio used to mean you could just roll in your pajamas, but I had to go and kind of pull myself together because of video. Thanks a lot, Angela. You didn't tell me that.
You could have been in your pajamas. You're still cute.
Oh, it's so great to see you guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you, Deborah. Have a good day.
Be well. Thank you.